Hello, everybody. Pastor Hans here, and welcome to the Daily Dose. Hey, this week on the Daily Dose, we are continuing a theme here at Calvary that is our theme during this season as we get ready for Easter. And the theme is this: heart matters. Heart matters. Here's what we believe. Your heart matters. Those things on your heart that you keep kind of hidden in your heart, those heart matters matter to God. And so we're going to continue a theme that we started this last weekend, a conversation, if you will, because here's what I believe, and this is what we talked about this past weekend in worship, that there are these things that we say in life. We all have these things we believe. We all have values, right? We use certain words to describe what's important in our lives, and then there are the ways we live our lives, right? There's a distance between the words we use to describe who we believe we are and the actions we take in life. There's a distance between what we say and what we do, between what we believe and how we live our lives. That's one of those things that we keep inside our hearts, because when there's that dissonance or when things are out of sync, we feel it in our hearts. And we don't live the full life that God wants for you and me. You see, God wants you to live a full life. And so we're going to continue that conversation this week. And to start, here's what I want you to do. I want you to imagine for a minute. I want you to imagine a world where everyone likes you, everyone admires you, everyone approves of you, everyone thinks you are the best person in the world. None of your relatives, none of your friends, they ever disagree with you. They think you are right all the time. Folks, I hate to tell you this, but that world does not exist. It's not ever going to happen. It is impossible. I hate to break it to you, but it's never going to happen. But here's the thing that you and I believe, and we'd never say this out loud. We keep it in our heart of hearts. We have this belief that we can please everybody, that everyone should admire us. And this is so important because we spend our entire lives trying to please others, don't we? We do this. It starts in high school. I remember in high school, oh man, the ridiculous things I did. The amount of money I spent on Air Jordans. I had to have a pair of Air Jordans. If you grew up in the 80s, 90s, you remember tight rolling your jeans. We tight roll the bottom of our jeans. Man, I had the best mullet money could buy. I mean, a little bit of this in the front and a whole lot of party in the back, right? I did all kinds of things, and you did too, in order to try and win your friends' approval. You would just go along with what your friends said, even though you knew better. There was that thing you did at that one party, remember? And I would love to say that as adults, right, we leave that all behind, but the truth of the matter is we continue, right? We buy stuff we can't afford, or maybe more subtly, we try and win the approval of others by the things we don't say in public, by the things we don't take a stand on. Because for every one of us, regardless if you're 13 or you are 90, there's this voice in the back of our heads that's constantly saying, what do they think of me? 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 Well, you know this. We want to please everyone. While all the while, if you consider yourself a Christian, isn't it ironic that there's really only one person whose opinion really matters? If you consider yourself a Christian, the only one whose opinion really matters is God's opinion, isn't it? I mean, the truth of the matter, this God who created you, who said you are mine, isn't it true that God's opinion is really the only one that matters? And so here's what I want to wonder with you about. Two things. First, you know this. You can't please everyone, but you can always please God. You can't please everyone, but you can always please God. There was a guy by the name of Moses. And Moses, he grew up his entire life in the home of Pharaoh. And what's interesting about the life that Moses lived, growing up in the home of Pharaoh, is he had every comfort in the world. He had access to being the most popular kid in his class. But what we're going to find out is that for Moses traded in comfort to follow the calling God had for him. Moses traded in popularity for the purposes of God. In fact, it says in the book of Hebrews, when the New Testament authors were recalling Moses' life, they said this: by faith, Moses, when he had grown up, he refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He chose to be mistreated along with all the people of God, all the Israelite people, rather than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a short time. He regarded disgrace for the sake of Christ as of greater value than the treasures of Egypt, because he was looking ahead to his reward. You see, here's what Moses knew: you can't please everyone, but you can always please God. He traded in his comfort and popularity for God's calling in his life. Here's the other thing I think you and I know, but we need to be reminded of it. That God is really clear about what God thinks of you. You may always find yourself wondering, what do they think? What do they think? What do they think when it comes to your family, your friends, those you encounter from day to day? But you never have to ask that question about God. God is absolutely clear about what God thinks of you. In the book of Matthew, we hear the story of Jesus being baptized. And when Jesus comes out of the water, there's some incredible words that are said. It says, as soon as Jesus was baptized, he went up out of the water. At that moment, the heavens opened up, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and lighting on him. And a voice from heaven said this: listen, this is my Son, whom I love. With him I am well pleased. This is my Son, with whom I am well pleased. Friends, in your baptism, you have a God who looks at you and says the very same thing that God said to Jesus. God says, you are my daughter. With you I am well pleased. You are my Son, with whom I am well pleased. As we consider our theme, Heart Matters, you and I know that there is this dissonance between what we believe and what we do in our lives. And one of those places is that constant question in the back of our heads: what do they think of me? What do they think of me? What do they think of me? And here's the reality: the only one whose opinion should ever really matter is that of God. God who looks at you and says, You are my son, you are my daughter, you are my child, and I am so pleased. Folks, if you're tuning in today on Facebook, we'd be honored if you would share this post. We'd also, if you're watching on YouTube, remember you can always share this link. Hit the bell so you get notifications. And if you're watching on Cable Access 181, would you tell a friend or maybe invite them to watch with you tomorrow? Folks, so glad you're a part of our church family. We'll see you soon.
Oxygen, my very breath, the source of life, the source of rest. Oh, I need you. You're the wind that fills these fragile sails. You carry me through crashing waves. Oh, I need you. Oh, breathe in, you in, Yahweh, Yahweh. Breathe in, you in, Yahweh, Yahweh. Breathe in, you in, Yahweh, Yahweh. Breathe in, you in. Stars would have no shine. Stars would have no shine without your word. So be the spark, Lord, let me burn. Oh, I need you. Oh, I need you. Burning within, Yahweh, Yahweh. Burning within, Yahweh, Yahweh. Burning within, Yahweh, Yahweh. Burning within. You are the great I am, seated upon the throne. Nothing can take your place in my heart. I'm bringing all I am, standing with lifted hands. Nothing can take your place in my heart, in my heart. Singing your name, Yahweh, Yahweh. Singing your name, Yahweh, Yahweh. Singing your name, Yahweh, Yahweh. Singing your name. Singing your name, Yahweh, Yahweh. Singing your name, Yahweh, Yahweh. Singing